if
some music?
interested. Might, yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the only reason I don't want to tax it.
Yeah, I know doing it underneath the cars gets to be old,
Okay.
old people.
On the ice in a blizzard.
Yeah, that's worse.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, we're going with our June 6, 2018 NASCC meeting.
Their new camera.
Yeah. We're supposed to
Probably
all
garbage. That's better than anything we've ever had before.
Don't give away your secrets, Kevin.
Dumpster diving school.
So I'm going to welcome a couple of people who haven't been here before. First is Wayne Shaw, otherwise known as Oz, back there, who's been a club member for 4 years and finally came to a meeting. And over on this side of the room, we're going to have this gentleman introduce himself because he's got a whole story to go with it.
Thank you very much. My name is Jeff Burkett. I'm new to the meeting, but not necessarily new to the club. I joined the club actually in, I think, 1969. My marshal's logbook number 42 indicates that I was at the Speedway marshal and driving school on May 2, 1970.
Paper was expensive then?
And I was corner marshal for Formula A, Formula 5000, all the Trans Am, all the Can-Am, local club racing. Out at the Speedway, of course, famous Speedway. And the last meeting I was at, as I mentioned to Madam Secretary, was when the clubhouse was where the James McDonald Bridge now is.
Yep.
So after 44 years, I decided I would come back and see what's going on with the club. I'm really pleased to know that there's a facility out at Speedway. I've only ever been to the roundy round stuff with my son, but I'm really glad to know that there's club racing that goes on out there. And I hope to become a regular attender of the club and events.
That's great to have you come up.
Yeah.
Good to have you back.
Barry, you have a new friend too.
Guys, I'd like to introduce Terry Fong. He came to the driving school.
Hey, everybody.
And he's looking for at a spec Miata, assuming he can fit it. And Jim Whitelaw has agreed kindly to host Terry for this coming weekend,
Well,
if Terry can make it.
Perfect.
Terry, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Terry Fong. I took the course, it must have been about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it very much. The instruction was very, very good.
Which car were you in?
I was in my yellow Mustang,
Okay.
the 2015 GT. The car is far better than I am as a driver. And so I'm looking for something that I can evolve and learn with. And very recommended that I come down and attend the meeting and introduce myself.
Well, glad to have you here.
And so you are going to do Spec Miata, are you?
I want to see if I can fit in one first.
You get
is-
bigger people to do.
in 2004, I broke 18 bones when I crashed my motorcycle. So I'm a little sore and stiff, and lots of plates and pins and places. So I just have to see if I can fall in.
How tall are you, Terry?
6'4.5".
That's the trouble, yeah. But in Spec Miata, you can lower the floor now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand there's a 2-inch floor
Yeah.
pan that you can lower.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that'll be the challenge for you, yeah. That.
Yeah.
So you'll want to talk to Terry Bresma. He's driving Chris Samanchu's number 13 Spec Miata that has the lowered floor.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you'll want to sit in that car because that does have the lowered floor. Because Chris is very tall too. He's 6'2", 6'3". So, and Terry was complaining he couldn't see over the top of the dash in the track meet because he was sitting so low. But Terry's only like 5'7".
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to take Terry around to most of the spec Miata guys and
Yeah,
talk and sit.
but that car definitely you want to sit in. So
Yeah, and we should also introduce you to Sean Finn, who has had to modify his Spec Miata seat and floor arrangement so he can sit in it. Sean's both tall and wide.
and size 15 or something.
And so he, so he had to work pretty hard to make the car fit him, and he's able to.
Okay.
So it's certainly possible to do, but it does require some work and getting some advice from people that have done it around here would certainly be helpful for you.
Is there a pre-made floor pen purchased?
I'm not sure the best person to talk to would be Chris Samansu, who should be out there. So
I think there is a kit.
There is,
I think
I've seen it online, I think.
but I don't remember where because I wasn't going to look for one.
The outer cage, I think, or someone of those outlets.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay,
But
so
you'll probably track them down. and let you
proceeding with our
see.
items for the meeting for tonight, first thing is, well, we'll kind of combine a review of the race school and a review of race 1 weekend. Mark, do you want to?
I'll let Jed start with a review of the race school. He
Okay.
was Jed was our chief instructor and organizer.
Well, that was, as Terry said, it was 5 or 6 weeks ago, so you're expecting me to actually remember things from that.
Just a quick one.
It just doesn't happen anymore. Brian can tell you all about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, well, so anyhow, I mean, the school was low attendance by students, high attendance by volunteers for instructors, and it went very well. It was very smooth. Having that high instructor to student ratio is basically 1-to-1, meant that it went very smoothly, and when there was a need to change students and instructors for one reason or another, it was really easy to manage, and that went really smoothly. There were no significant incidents on track that I was made aware of. There were a few people that had some offs, 2 or 4 wheel, and they had appropriate conversations with chief instructors, but all within expectations of the school. And classroom went very well. We had a lot of positive comments about the instruction in the classroom. We had a new set of instructors presenting the flags, and that went extremely well. And we decided to team it up as having a corner marshal present the flags, say a little bit about them from their perspective, and then a driver talk about the flags from their perspective. And both people were very concise and also entertaining, and I think that flag instruction went quite well. And it was reflected in the grading on the exam, which is probably about 70% on flags, where the performance on the exam was very high from the school. And so we had lots of corner marshals and volunteers show up to organize and run it, and from the perspective of those of us in charge of it, it went really, really well. The feedback from the students was very positive. Didn't get a lot of feedback from instructors, so I don't know from that perspective, but it seemed to go very well.
Yeah, from my point of view, it was the smoothest school I've attended, and that's a big thanks to you, Jed, and you deserve a round of applause for doing an excellent job.
Well, in my typical, cynical way, I look at that as saying, so as a result of managing to attract only half the normal number, it ran a lot more smoothly.
Yeah, and I can talk to that a little bit. We typically rely on the race school to generate some revenue that offsets some of our costs during the year. We're still scratching our heads and trying to figure out why we had lower turnout this year. I have a few ideas, and we'll toss those around before we look at next year's. But all in all, we lost a few $1,000s on the school, where normally we make at least $5,000 to $10,000, up to even $15,000 on the school. So it was a little bit of a financial hit for the club, but all in all, it was an excellent event. It was just unfortunate we didn't have more students.
Yeah, the advertising we did from my end was the same as the advertising we've done for the last 5 years.
Same one.
So that part didn't change. So something else has changed, and we
Yeah.
have to figure out how to adjust for that.
We pushed a lot of advertising online too, but for some reason, I don't know if Facebook changed some of the ways, but compared to the stuff we'd done before, like last year, or even for the ice race stuff, I don't think the advertising was effective, and I have actually been talking to Facebook to figure out what happened with it. We didn't get the views that we normally do, and I'm not sure why. We basically ran the advertising the exact same way as the ice race school, so they've just changed a lot of options on the thing, and I'm not sure how that affects us now. So I've complained and tried to get a refund on some of the advertising expenses, which they're decent about. So.
Yeah. The one thing I did wonder about is we'd set our pricing structure based on what Track Junkies was charging for schools, so that we wouldn't appear to be undercutting them and upsetting them for some reason. And but they've lowered their daily rates so that our school for 2 days was slightly more expensive than taking 2 days of Track Junkies. And so we may want to
Revisit that.
revisit that. The thing is that it's only $30 difference, so I doubt it really was the issue.
The other big difference is they haven't run the Ross Bentley instructors school for a while either. So.
Yeah, but that would work in our favor, not to our
It
disadvantage.
It should, but that's one of the reasons why we want to look at lowering the price a little bit.
Yeah, we did raise the price given that they were charging $1,000 for that Bentley school.
All right.
I had the pleasure of speaking with Kevin Volan today. He calls my office for work every now and again. Told me he was
Kevin
here.
Volan?
He was here for the school. He used to race with us. He had a car like Bruce's.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the yellow one.
Yeah.
And he told me where it went. It went to New York, and it's never raced since he sold it. So that's kind of sad.
I thought it was coming back.
I don't think so.
Zutter's car?
No,
No.
Zutter's is back. That's
Okay.
the blue one.
No, it's
white.
Well, it
white.
was blue,
White.
now it's white, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want to continue on with the
Yeah, we'll
weekend?
talk about the first race weekend. It was typically earlier than any other race weekend we've ever had. It was at the end of May. We knew we were kind of going to be in trouble based on what we perceived from coming out of the school, and also the date. It was a May long weekend. It was an early date, but we didn't anticipate having as low entries as we did. We really were contemplating about having to cancel the event. We looked at all the options, and at the end of the day, we decided to go ahead with the event. We only had 26 entries that generated just about $13,000. Now, if you want to just throw out these numbers, just so everybody's aware of how much it costs to run a race weekend. Our WCMA permit is $210. Our insurance to run a 2-day event is $3,000. Our insurance for a 1-day event is $2,300, so it's not much different between a 1 and a 2-day event. Our ambulance costs us $815 a day, so $1,932. Same RT, rescue costs $1,300 for a 2-day event. Order and ice for the volunteers is $250. Lunches and miscellaneous, printer ink and other stuff came to $670. Gas for generators about $65. And the big one is the track rental to Castrol. So a 2-day track rental to Castrol is costing us $15,750. So when you look at our total expenses, it's little over $23,000, and that won't change for a race event. So to look at generating money, breaking even, we need about 40 entries, and anything over that, we generate some money. So our actual loss for the first race event is just over $10,000. But if we would have canceled that event, we would have had to forfeit our 50% deposit to Castrol, which was $7,800. So all in all, we decided to go ahead with that event, even with the low entries, and basically, without losing that $7,800, we had a race event, and it cost us $2,500. So we lost $2,500. You can argue that we wouldn't have had to lay out those other expenses, and that's true, but we tried to limit the damage as much as we could. So for those 26 entries who came out to the race weekend, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I think everybody did enjoy the race event. It went very good. We had a little bit of trouble on the scheduling on the Saturday. We were expecting the 2 open wheelers to show up on Saturday. They didn't, so we had to really juggle our schedule on the Saturday, and lots of track time for the closed wheel cars. We ran lots of races on the Saturday. I'm trusting that the 2 open wheels would come on the Sunday, and they did, which they ran for all of Sunday, so it took the pressure off a little bit on Sunday, because I don't think we could have ran the closed wheel cars again in that format of the Saturday schedule. It was just way too much. I think everybody was just beat by the end of Saturday. So not good news on the financial side for the first race event, but it turned out really good. The weather was really nice. Everybody had fun. No complaints from anybody. We had good feedback from our 2 rookie drivers who partook in the event. Wanted to get their feedback. Ryan Crozier and Steve Begg. They both replied to my email, invited them out to the club meeting, and they said they had a lot of fun, and they didn't have any negative feedback at all in any way. So it was very encouraging. So like Jed and Barry have mentioned, we've been trying to do a mentoring program this year, and it's worked out good that Brian Crozier is mentored up with Bruce Willocks, and Steve Begg is getting help from myself and from Matt Boveen. So any other comments about the first race weekend? Any discussion? Yes, Jen?
I just want to, I know what it's like to do it, and I want to congratulate you on the rapid change in the schedule for Saturday and the excellent implementation. I know that's a real challenge, and you did it really well.
We were a little thin on marshals for the weekend too, but we managed to cover everything okay.
Good.
Yeah, you were thin on cars though, so
Yeah.
you know, it actually, it was sort of noticeable that because there really weren't that many cars on track, it seemed like it was really okay that there were fewer marshal stations manned, and that there was maybe 1 in the station, not 2, because the challenge wasn't as high for the marshals, I think.
Yeah, and we had no major incidents except for Ryan losing the axle in corner 2, so that was the biggest incident.
Yeah, and that was really a time incident as
Yeah,
opposed to
a time
a
incident.
race incident.
And I must congratulate everybody who got his car off the track, because I didn't think it could have been done any quicker. And thanks to Colin to running and getting the flat deck to tow it off. So.
Neil.
Neil.
Yeah, but Colin has developed a connection with Neil, who knows our club from the past, and so thanks to Colin for making that come alive.
You know, Neil's been involved with us for a long time, you know. All those Indy races, he always helped me in the paddock there.
But still, it's great to have those connections be able to use.
Well, having him on the inside out there is definitely good to have. We wouldn't have had that deck truck.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering where it come from when I saw the car come in on it.
Thanks to Nelson for arranging all our trophies and champagne as usual.
Yeah, and even though his car wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Well, it was running, but I wasn't prepared to take a chance that it was going to keep running.
Yeah, no, I think you made the right choice.
I think I'll be out in June again. Hopefully
Yes.
we've solved the problem. We're waiting for parts, but anyway, they should be in tomorrow.
Awesome.
I might be out.
So talking about our next event is June 22nd, 23rd. 23rd, 24th, sorry, yeah. Our registrations are better than our first event already.
We're at 22 plus 2 special entries.
Correct, right now. And I haven't even sent out the 48-hour notice about the early bird ending on Saturday, so that always generates a lot of interest right around Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
That's this coming weekend?
Yeah, so I'll be sending out the 48-hour notice about the early bird tomorrow. So I expect a little peak.
Do we have a vintage or open wheel contingent?
Well, we have certainly a vintage. We have already 4 registered, and we have 1
3.
more. 4. Mark Willis.
Yeah. That's 3.
And
Ron Hansma and Robert Caven.
have you?
And
Oh, is Robbie going to run your car too?
No, he's out of town, but I could run my car in vintage, but then I.
Well,
registered in
Stephanie's
SCC.
coming up from Calgary, so
Oh,
that's.
Stephanie's coming. Oh, good.
And have you been in touch with the Vintage Club in Calgary to?
Yeah, Barry did that on our behalf, so, and they're gonna spread the word, so, we'll hopefully get at least, six vintage cars out this weekend, if no more.
And last I spoke with Mr. Robert Shaw, he indicated that the Elliots are renting his cars for the June weekend. And,
Is Lanny coming back?
it depends on whether or not he's back to the oil field. He's still waiting for his work schedule. And so Kevin, depends on his doctor's schedule too. So we'll see whether or not they come.
Did you get that other Triumph? The guy that,
Yeah, the guy came out to a track.
he was at Junkies with an old TR6?
I
He was planning on,
Yeah, he said he was.
yeah.
Does anybody have any contact info for this guy?
Barry?
Yes and no. I'll dig up the records and see. It's a GT6?
Oh, it's a GT.
A GT6.
Yeah. And he ran all weekend, never left a puddle,
Ooh,
And he-
finished every heat.
He
ooh.
bought it
In a
at
TR6?
No,
Yeah.
GT6.
GT6, even smaller.
Did he swap it for a Honda? He's
No,
running a D-Series?
Was he just running it without oil?
I think it would burn oil for a lap, and it would stop,
yeah.
and it would just burn clean or run clean. Actually, really impressive.
Does he have a race license?
Yeah, I think so.
He said he did.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think he got from SCC BC though. But that.
He bought the car out of Vancouver.
Okay.
It's been a racer for many years. It's, what was it, 68, Barry?
69.
69, whatever, old. But it's been a racer for many years and it's dialed in. Neat to see
That
vintage.
sounds promising.
So Linda and Mark, you said for sure we're running an open wheel?
No, I'm not
Vintage,
so.
you said for sure?
Vintage for sure will
Because
be.
I need to know for trophies. I
Yeah.
didn't plan on open wheel.
I will let you know.
Yeah, we don't have any open wheels registered yet, so I know Blair has been getting the cars ready, but I'll contact him and see if that's.
Well, I already put the trophy order in at House of Trophies. I could always add another trophy or something, but then it comes into budget
Yeah.
and I'm already dinging Kevin LaChance for a fair bit for this round of trophies. And I think I've got a couple of spare trophies I could repurpose. Maybe I can get them ready in case I.
He's a cheap bastard.
He's a cheap bastard. Actually, I shouldn't argue, but he sent me an email. Whatever you think, Nelson. So,
Yeah,
I should shut up. I shouldn't say.
Yeah. And really, we gotta thank our sponsors, River City for the first one, as you look at this upcoming race. We did have a bit of bad news for our last sponsor for the last weekend, our WCMA runoffs and season ender. Subway decided not to sponsor that again, but then we have great news, and I'll let Nelson.
Yeah,
talk about
I
that.
got to talk for a couple of minutes at some point about the things, yeah.
Well, let's.
Do you want to come up here and talk?
I can do it now.
That's
Yeah,
the
do it
vintage
now.
you want to just be careful.
Don't
with
trip
that
over the
place.
cables.
You said a couple of minutes, eh?
Okay,
I was gonna say, I've never seen
You
Nelson
take
talk for sure.
Okay, well, I'll stand. I actually am better standing, so
Just
yeah.
because I think the camera only goes to here, so.
Okay, hello camera. Yeah, so River City, that went really well. Now, there's a little bit of a discussion with that, and I think it could be good for the club. Chris Saunders he and I had quite a talk about this after the race weekend. And Chris is very happy with the club and willing to do all these things. I think he wants to do something different for his business. I think he'd like to sponsor our school. And we had quite a talk
Yeah, that'd be
about
great.
that. Well, there is no sponsor for this school.
The school, I've been trying to work
Yeah.
with, but I think the school sponsorship should be substantially more money.
Oh, I think so too, and I think he has that in mind. And I don't know yet any details about that, and I don't know that it involves trophies or maybe some of the award thing or something. But I think it's more just his name, the sponsorship of the school, and
Yeah, no,
he'd like to
I
do
think that would be great, because
I think he wants to do that. And if that happens, I might be, but I'm not yet terribly worried about the June or May or June or season opener race, because my buddy Linda here said, Nelson, I've got a couple of things on the burner maybe. So I'm gonna start bugging you at some point about that, because I think this is
Working
gonna
on it.
unfold, not for this year, but unfold for next year, yeah. So this weekend coming up now is Beulah, as we've had before. Beulah, great. Kevin's been really terrific to deal with. He's go ahead, do the trophies, do all this, so we really, really have to thank him. It's quite appreciated. I think he was out of town a lot. I was kind of on pins and needles trying to get an answer back from him.
He
but,
was racing stateside.
yeah, and I finally did get an answer from him, and I think he was really busy because he just sent me a couple of emails back, Nelson, do what you want, blah, 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 so that's it. So nice, good, I'm happy. Fast Tech is our sponsor for August, as we have. I'm trying with these sponsors to work sort of a budget deal, and so Chris Saunders would be for that, and if we have new sponsors coming along, we can certainly bring them along with that idea.
We do have space for the online stuff. We do have like advertise. I try to put for the events, the meeting before the event or whatever. We try to put some of the sponsors on there, but we would like to actually like kind of lightly sell those positions where they'll always be on the videos and stuff like that. So
That could be
we have an option for
a
that.
thing for our sponsors then, okay? If you're gonna give us extra money.
Yep. Is it?
You know, that you can, something like that.
That's
Anyway, we'll have to talk in a little bit details about that, but anyway. So Fast Tech is the only one. Cal Height hadn't said whether he wants to just come up with a budget amount or I'll just bill him for the cost, which I've been doing in the past for all the
That's
sponsors.
his cell phone.
And then, like Mark said, we've lost Subway due to, nothing against the club or anything wrong with racing and stuff. I think Subway is redoing a lot of organizational things in business structure. They're actually having a really tough time. I don't want to get into any details, but I kind of think Peter Spencer's been watching a lot of money go out the window lately. And I think what do you call it, the minimum wage, I guess, is what it is really, really, really nailed them. They're having all kinds of problems. I know even my buddy Harold Schmidt from Northwest Truck, he's been almost 2 to 3 months without a paycheck. He's paying his employees out of his own line of credit, just now, so he doesn't lose any staff, because business has been that bad. So I can, feel a bit for Peter Spencer. But anyway, regardless, we have a nice new sponsor for September, and it's Triple K Auto Body from, where they're just south of Calgary.
High River. High River.
105 9th Avenue Southeast, High River, Alberta. There you go, Stuart Geddes. So after the race is on in May, after the podium presentation, I was talking to a few people, and Stu came along, and he had mentioned to me, about doing the Hard Luck Award and all that, and I said, well, we don't have a sponsor for September because Subway isn't. He said, yeah, you do. So we have Triple K, and he's on a budget, so I've gotten a budget amount from him for that weekend. He wants to do his sort of Hard Luck Award for the weekend, but he's quite keen. So I have artwork for that, so I'll send PDFs to you, I guess. So I'll need some email addresses. I'll send the PDF to you too.
I was going to say too, seeing as they're new sponsor, do you want to say, do you know anything about the shop or what type of?
No, I don't know. I know about Stuart and a little bit about his business. I do not know about the shop.
Oz, would you like to fill us in on
Maybe.
Steve's next
Repairs
business?
all the Beulah vehicles and all the Honda race cars for us.
Okay, because
Outstanding way.
I'm looking for a body shop to repair the fire damage on one of mine. So
Take it as due.
I think they'd be great, because I know his reputation. I look at their cars and stuff, and you see that. So, I mean, it's a bit of a distance, but if you're not in a rush.
Just leave it there, right?
Yeah, if you're not in a rush, trailer it down or something.
It needs a lot of.
I would think that'd be a good call, yeah. So those are our sponsors for the season. Then next season, there might be a little realignment, like I was just with Linda and stuff, but I think that's pretty good. So I'm kind of pleased. At first, I was looking at the season thinking, oh my God, this is not going to be fun. And then all of a sudden I'm, yay. That's all I have to say. I'll shut up, old guy. You sit down.
No, we love to hear from you, Nelson.
Yeah. But before tonight's over, I want to get, I think I have yours, but I want to get you and Ryan too, and email addresses, and I'll forward the
I
PDFs.
can send you them.
That works.
Yeah.
I need to talk to you about one thing after, so you're not running
Yeah,
away.
no, I have a couple things to talk to you about. No, I'm here till the bitter end, so, okay, excuse me, gentlemen. Thanks, Ross.
And as always, we welcome any other sponsors that are interested in helping us out in any way throughout the year.
we've been talking about many years of trying to get a title sponsor for ice race season, so now's a good time to start thinking about that. So for a small amount of money, you can become the title sponsor for the ice race series. So
Actually, throw that idea up with a few places, so I might have some leads. It might actually be a competition to see who wants to sponsor it. So
Good.
should be good.
Okay, so our next item coming up is the travel fund.
yes, so I'll talk a little bit about this because it leads into another thing too. So last year we kind of have decided on having $100 travel allowance for any out of province racer coming to our events. We didn't advertise it in May because I knew we weren't going to get anybody, but I have advertised it for our June event. And we have one taker already, and Jed is John Wright from DC that Jed knows. We're still planning on having that $100 travel allowance, but there's been some other talk around. But there was a big announcement made by Winnipeg Sports Car Club today, about 2 hours ago. And I'll just read it. It's on Facebook under their Winnipeg Sports Car Club Facebook page. They kind of clued in that we don't have an event in July. They kind of clued into that. And I think they did some really good thinking about this. So their Facebook page web post says, Echelon Wealth Partners present the Honda versus Mazda Challenge Race Weekend.
All those bastards.
It says a full race weekend with a Mazda versus Honda feature race each day. We're offering a $250 tow fund for any Team Mazda or Team Honda member, or $100 for any time attack driver that doesn't call GMP home, which is Gimli Motorsports Park. So what it's saying is, if you're going to race that weekend, we'll give you a $250 travel allowance.
Isn't there a registration fee, $250?
It's $365 last time I
So
looked.
nearly free registration.
Nearly free registration. Interesting thing is, I did some checking, and admission is only $265. So
For which tow or registration?
just registration. So I think Gimli's $100 more than that. So it says $750 in cash prizes for the fastest time attack packs lap of the weekend. Any Honda or Mazda can compete in the feature. This is a team race in which the winning team will claim the trophy. We're calling you out, Alberta. Come race at GMP for the Echelon Honda versus Mazda Challenge Trophy. Blah, 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 for more details and so on and so on.
What's the date? Where is it on there?
This is the July 20th, 21st, and 22nd. It's the week before the Chum Car race, which is, it's good for a lot of people. I'm not planning on entering the Chum Car race, and I'll definitely be going to Winnipeg for this. As a courtesy to GMP, I'm going to share this to our Facebook page and to our web page, and if nobody has any objections to that. I think it's really, really good. And it kind of leads me into something that I was thinking about for a while here, and that's our season ender, which is also the WCMA.ca runoffs. It is the WCMA runoffs, which encompasses the Winnipeg Sports Car Club. So in a show of good faith, I think it's fair that we as a club would offer their club members a $250 tow fund too. Our registration's a bit higher, so we would get entries for that. So we would get about a $300 net out of that for registration. So it's something we'll talk about as an executive, but as a show of good faith, I think we should offer it back for a September race weekend to anybody from Winnipeg. Something to think about and talk about. If you got any thoughts on that, just
Not just Winnipeg, any else.
yeah. But we'll talk about it as executive. But if you have any thoughts on that, and if you'd like to share that with the executive at all, but that's the way I would personally lean, is to offering that $250 travel allowance for our September race weekend. Okay.
So team racing, is that tag team?
Guys, like, what about the rules for that? Is
I
it
don't
just,
know.
Like 2 people in the car at once, you have to like switch cars halfway through.
I will contact them tomorrow and ask if they've got some ideas on the format of it, because I'm sure that'll be the first question is what's team racing?
You have to drive into the paddock and bump start the next car in your team.
Like, in seriousness, I think basically they're gonna pool points on all the Honda cars and all the Mazdas, so just to see who's the best, and of course, we know already, but we just have to prove it again, right, every year.
Come on, Ryan, get in on this.
We gotta get a lot of Miatas out there, because they have a lot of Hondas.
They have a lot of fast Hondas, and on that track, that's a Honda track.
Yeah.
I think if we get them out here in September, we'll.
I think that track's a pretty good track for Miata.
It's not bad. I couldn't keep up with them when I
No.
went.
There's lots of runoff for the Miatas, right? You can get off anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, we went
And
out
did you
with,
not have some issues with your car there last year?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
okay,
track,
just checking.
track is so fast that all the oil comes out of your oil pan. and then you see
we
your
went
motor.
out with 7 challenge cars one year and smoked the field. It was just unbelievable.
Wait, 7 challenge cars? Where are they
That was a
now?
long time ago.
That was a vintage race.
That orange Mustang I used to have, I had a bunch of little Japanese battle flags, which I used to, ones with the stripes. And I used to put them on the cowl or someplace, I forget, to represent all the Japanese cars that I vanquished over the season.
I watched the runoffs last year in Gimli. They've got some fast Hondas out there. Even Chris and Dean were having trouble keeping up with them.
Yeah,
So.
and and obviously the cars change over time. Actually, once we got the hang of the track, the challenge cars were fast out there. But on a track like that, the challenge cars were fast compared to a Miata, whereas on Castrol they're slow compared to Miata.
Yeah.
So
Just hopefully that Mazda from Whiskey don't show up, the Huskies,
I don't think he's going to be out.
because that car would definitely light up the track.
I think he's still, somebody was talking to me about the Tomsky's car. It's not ready yet.
Yeah, last time I talked to him, it wasn't, but it's been a while.
they're planning to go in running in the SCCA
Yeah.
to get into the what do they call their nationals?
Runners.
The runners. So they have a plan to run 7 of the majors this year. But then they've had some personal circumstances that slowed them down.
I'll talk to Greg and let you know.
Okay, so that's sort of our talking about travel fun, but we'd definitely like to hear your feedback on that. Whether it's good, bad, what your thoughts on it are. It's tough times, but we've got to also try and encourage people to come and try out our track and our racing at Castrol. So I think it's important to do that also.
That's kind
Well,
of around the chump
I
race,
think
isn't
they
it?
played.
I don't know.
They played their hand, and it'd be hard for us, or called our hand. It'd be hard for us not to match the travel
something
fund.
like
Yeah, that was my thoughts.
I'm
on
not
that.
sure.
Yeah.
Forgot to ask him.
They would definitely, we don't lose if they come here, right? Like all, so.
It's cars we wouldn't get otherwise.
Yeah, it's just,
Yes.
we take a little bit of a hit, but they did it for us.
Okay.
Okay, next subject is the Father's Day car show that Ryan wants to talk about.
So I'm going to go to the Father's Day car show at Celebration Church.
yeah.
It's
I told him about
June
it,
17th.
and
Went
he
there last
texted
year,
me.
and there's thousands of
And I
cars.
replied, never heard
Probably
another word.
tens of thousands of people that
He's
come
been
to
doing
this
a bunch
event.
of other stuff.
Registration is free, doesn't cost anything to enter it, and it's basically free advertising for the club. So if anybody has a race car that they aren't using that weekend and has
That's our little
free
Chinese
time
friend,
on
Terrence.
Saturday.
That's his winter car and
No,
his summer
Sunday.
car.
Sunday, sorry, I'm looking at it.
Porsche's
now.
a winter car.
17th, June
His
17th.
Porsche's the
Did
winter
you
car.
talk to Al?
I did.
Okay, did he say anything about it?
He's not doing it this year.
He won't be around, okay.
But if we can get 4 or 5 race cars out there, it's great advertising for the club. It'll get people knowing about racing that are interested in cars, which are what we're after.
So are you planning on putting all the race cars in one place?
That'd be the way of doing it. If we can get, 4 or 5, maybe we can get the banner and stuff out and that kind of thing, but.
My car's available, but I just don't know a way to get it there. My Volvo exploded, so Camry doesn't tow very well.
My cars have never been regarded as an attraction.
There actually was an R7 there last year that had bolted on side pipes with an automatic 12-way in it. So the bar is low. Let's put it that way.
Which?
Take that blue one out. Just for a show.
The Jetta?
Yeah.
So anybody, if anyone has a vehicle they think would be good for that, you can register at Celebration Church's website and give me a call so I know that you're coming. And
Are they on Facebook?
I think it is.
they have an internet page. I don't know if they have a Facebook page. I didn't find them by Facebook.
And I remember bringing the Omni out to an event once, and someone looked at it and said the Optima battery in it was worth more than the car.
Sad but true.
No, I think the car was worth 5 times more than the battery.
Nelson, I think your car would look very nice at a car show.
Well, it's up on a hoist right now, and
Oh.
it might stay there until just before the weekend.
Gotcha.
Of the race weekend, so. Actually, I have 2 nice cars. It could be, the one has no engine or transmission in it,
That's
but we
fine
could
for a
keep
car
that
show.
closed, no one would know.
That's right, just keep it buttoned up.
That's right, nobody needs to
No
know.
one would know. It's also in the shop, so.
Oz?
Waiting for
For
an
one of your
engine or
cars
something, transmission.
Yeah, possibly.
Where do your cars usually live between races? In Red Deer?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not that far away.
I got a deck I gotta build for the wife.
Ooh.
Yeah, but it's Father's
Good excuse
Day.
to get out of it.
But it's Father's Day.
Yeah, it's Father's Day. You can't possibly work on a deck on
Can't build a
Father's Day.
deck on Father's Day, sorry.
Yeah, we do the Father's Day in September. That's the Australian one. Yeah, I'll shoot mine a text and see whatever. We can bring something up for sure.
Cool. And so if we can get, a few of them out there, it's going to be good for the club.
Okay, maybe we can pump that up on Facebook there, Kevin?
Already done, already linked.
It's already done.
All right.
All of them are shared.
What are the dates, Ryan? What are the dates?
It's June 17th
Yes,
I wonder,
Sunday.
I wonder if we could talk Sean into bringing out the Boxster.
for the for sale sign.
Sure.
Well, most cars, most of
I
them.
think
Please try to sell it, right?
His other Porsches are ready though, because I know we were they had finished the motors and stuff on it. I know they might not be like race car, like ready for actual racing, but I think they all drive now.
Oh, the
Even
928.
it's like his widow maker and stuff like that. I think it might work. So
Is your car presentable enough for a car show?
If I could drive it, yeah.
Doesn't have to drive, trailer.
and we do have
Just saying.
the budget for like some sort of advertising thing. So if you want to get with me before the end of the week, we can maybe get something printed out. We can have like a display. So I need a generic display with no sponsors on it that we can always have, and then
Well, we have the banners and that kind of stuff in Mark's garage, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, I just wanted to have one that had like updated with like the Facebook stuff on it and everything like that.
Wanting to, for your advertising or racing, do just the street racing or the ice racing as well?
Well, the road
Have
racing
both
is,
sets of cars out.
the road racing is the easy one because those cars are out and about already. The ice racers, most of them are stored or. And I know
Abandoned.
I-
And
Abandoned
to
in
be
the
honest,
field.
ice racers generally look like crap, and I.
Yeah.
think-
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
but most of them, and I think you're.
The only one that-
The
that
better
are-
looking the car is,
Better off.
the better the storyline's gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can get,
Talk to
Yeah.
Vitor.
I mean, there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with us
detours.
making the point at that event that we do ice racing too.
Yeah.
But I think that, the road racing cars get more attention.
Well,
Possibly.
I brought my ice racer to one of the events in the summer with spiky tires and everything like
Yeah, the
that.
spiky tires get attention.
But it's like everyone just like they're like it got reasonably good. That's where I actually recruited two new people to Marshall and stuff
then
like
you
that.
can,
so.
then you can put the road race cars and the ice race cars so that people can see the difference. And that's which should hopefully attract people to come and ask questions.
I do have one thing I have to say, is that there will be thousands of cars here and a lot of people. So getting in and out is going to be a bit of a challenge. So we need to have some kind of coordination, get the cars there, get them out of there in a reasonable fashion. So.
What about an official club participation in that Rock in August event in Sonoma?
Oh, yeah, that thing's huge
That's a
too.
heck of a good event.
What event are you talking about?
That Rock in August big car show in St. Albert in
It's in
August.
Yeah,
Downtown St. Albert.
Winklemeyer's usually
Yeah,
got something in
Winklemeyer's
it,
usually
they've
got
had a
that.
couple of cars in it from time to time.
It's
But it's a great
huge.
event.
They have a big cruise through St. Albert on Friday, which obviously isn't appropriate for most of our cars,
So
but then there's a
Trailer.
there's a big show on Saturday downtown.
actually, I think they will allow, there's some sort of like, for the permit for it's a parade, like. thing.
Oh, you can.
So I think you
yes.
can run race cars in that thing, because they close all the roads off.
No, they don't close them off.
They don't close them off.
But they are monitored by the RCMP with, when they go through an intersection, they'll block the intersection, run the parade, and then.
Because I know some cars that
Yeah.
were registered and didn't have, like, I think you have to have some sort of like daily insurance that you can buy from your.
Well, you'll get an insurance company, you'll get a in-transit sticker for 24 or 48 hours to run your car on the street.
Yeah, and if you tell them it's going in a parade, they're usually okay with it. But I remember like there were cars there that weren't street legal that were on the parade, so.
A lot of those are drag cars, which sort of look street legal anyway. Most of ours don't look street legal at all.
I'll ask, but I think they're pretty, St. Albert's pretty cool about that stuff. If it's cool, they're like.
It'd be nice to have a club have an official presence somewhere.
Yeah, well,
Well,
you check
it takes
the
somebody
date
to
and
organize it.
get back to us.
That'll work.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, we need to talk about our meeting schedule for the summer and whether or not we're going to have business meetings for July and August.
Okay, what's everybody's feelings? Do we have one more on July 4th? And then cancel August
See,
I think that would make sense.
and start up again September?
6th or whatever it would be.
Yes.
6th, I think.
So we'd only miss 1 month then, the August meeting. What does everybody think?
Sure, nothing going on, there's no race meets going on in July anyway, so
Yeah.
No.
nothing going up before that, so.
Okay,
Which means we won't have, we'll just have that July 1 before.
Yeah.
do we still want to do a social meeting?
I think we should still have the social stuff.
Yeah,
So
I
we
think
can
this,
discuss.
the social meeting doesn't cost us anything. It costs us $100 for this room. And the social, we just meet up in the upstairs lounge at Chateau Louis. I think we'll just continue on the social meetings, whoever's around.
Those actually still do take place?
Yes, we started a backup. You may not be aware of that. We've actually
We almost fill half the bar.
Yeah, we've
8
had
to
to
10,
notify
8
the
to 12
bartender.
people.
Okay.
They block up the table for us now. and everything, so.
And the other two
Is
people
it
in
bar
that
down in
lounge
the
don't
basement,
mind. Yeah, the other two people don't
Is
mind.
it the bar down in the basement? or
No,
upstairs?
upstairs,
The lounge.
quieter.
It's a lot quieter.
And sometimes there's piano.
Okay, so we'll have a July 4th business meeting, and then a July 18th social meeting.
In a June social meeting.
Yes, sorry, we'll also have a June
14 days,
20th
the 20th.
social meeting. And then August, just a social meeting on the 15th?
I just cancel all of August.
Just cancel all of those.
Cancel August?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go anywhere in August? Okay.
And then we'll start back up with our business meeting on September 5th.
September 5th for business week. August. Okay. Kevin, you got that noted?
Yeah, it's
It's in the code.
we'll work around stuff too. I only foresee the change that if something out of the ordinary happens and we have to have a meeting, maybe if we have some exciting news or something, maybe some crazy sponsor or something changes, so we might have it, but.
Well, the only thing that I can see is some pre-planning, and I think that's in the agenda, but we'll carry on. here, because I think it's in the agenda.
Okay, well, my next agenda item is some social activities at the races. Is that what you're referring to?
Exactly, because we need to do something for the season end of WCMA.ca runoffs, especially.
Do we have band lined up right now? Live band?
Well,
We have nothing
haven't
right
got
now.
there yet, so
Nothing, okay.
that's what the point is, to have this discussion right now. We're trying to make things more social, as well as, you know, just hanging out and racing. And so if anybody has any suggestions, I mean, this includes July, August, and September race weekends. We ended up doing an impromptu barbecue for the marshals at the May race weekend that worked out really well, and we celebrated Graham's birthday, young man over again. And so if anybody got any ideas for June of anything that we'd like to do, you know, wet t-shirt contest? I know, I'm there, you know.
Oh, I'm down for that.
Okay, good.
First person on the list there.
Okay, got you down.
I don't look good in a wet t-shirt.
How do you know?
I look.
I've seen it.
Lately?
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
Okay, so Colin, I guess the big focus that Mark's looking towards is the WCMA event in August.
September.
Thank you. Colin, do you think you could check with your daughter's band and see if they would be interested in... Now, I know September last year was difficult for them because they would sort of play outside rather than in the building. It works out much better. So if they would be interested in a different weekend, we could certainly try to accommodate them.
I don't know what they got booked, but I can find out.
Can you check with Christine?
Do it in the August one?
Yeah, August would
It's
be...
still warm, nice, supposedly.
I had another silly thought that we could meet here some night on a social event and do a rally out to the racetrack and use the parking lot on the north side and do a slalom with the driver blindfolded, you know, one of those.
That sounds like fun. Okay.
On a grass field there.
I have a chassis I want to get rid of.
We did that many years ago with the driver blindfolded and the navigator telling them where to go. It was kind of fun.
Did that once at Bonnie Doon, and the driver with his navigator yelling, "Stop, stop, stop," hit one of the light standards.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I said a nice grass open field
That's
might
probably
be
better.
I think we used tires for pylons. Anyway, it's a thought.
Okay, any volunteers to organize that?
Colin?
Think about my scheduling.
Okay. Okay, that's a great idea. I like that one.
We could also partner, see if there's any other local clubs that want to partner with it,
Oh,
that do the kind of stuff. We do have the Alberta Solo Association
yes.
and ERC, the Edmonton Rally Club. We're always up for more events and more fun stuff, so. We're trying to like link all the clubs so everyone like knows everybody. So we can trade drivers back and forth, so if people can't afford to do road racing or away, they can still do some other racing, and then when the people who are doing the other type of, you know, autocross, they can finally come to us and see what it's like to go door to door.
Speaking of cross promotion, I guess since you've mentioned the Edmonton Rally Club already, we can mention the fact that they're doing their Northern Loon TSD rally on
Yes.
Saturday, July the 7th, starting at 7:30 a.m. in Edson. And if anybody's interested in entering or volunteering to do some checkpointing for that, you can either contact me or Mike Thorne. And Mike Thorne's the organizer for it. He's actually out there today running around on some roads working on it. It's going to go around Edson and then to Drayton Valley for our finish.
That's a weird way. You know, first to Trunk Road.
Yeah, he is going down the Trunk Road and the Cardinal River Road and the Pembina Road and across, I think, Elk River, but I'm not sure. He's trying to incorporate some of the old Bighorn roads, but unfortunately, the last roads we used out there were all dead ends, so that's not gonna help him.
Yeah, but if you go back to the old Rocky Road, you went all the way from Grand Cache down to Norby, past.
True. That's from the early 70s, though. A lot of those roads no longer exist. And the oil field has changed things significantly. Anybody got any other great ideas for social things they'd like to do? I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to involve racing cars. If we can.
I'm good at organizing their sim racing events.
The sim racing event. Okay, great.
The what racing?
A sim racing.
Sim.
Yes, that's,
For hopefully sometime in
Why
July.
don't we do it on, instead of having the social up in the lounge, do it at there?
For July or this month? No, I was thinking of next month.
Yeah.
After race weekend.
Yeah.
there's a little room in the back, right? Like I thought they have like a party room there or something.
Things like that. He has a workshop, I think, in the back.
It's not licensed, so.
No. Sorry, Kevin.
Where is this place where we do sim racing?
149th Street and 135th Ave.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it's right like where they just widened 137th Ave or whatever.
Just pick a date.
There's like a shell and everything there. It's really easy to get to.
I'll publish it and let people know.
Okay.
We should do it in July maybe.
And
That's what
I
I
was
said.
thinking the second week of July on Wednesday. Because I was expecting to
In
start-
between the two meetings?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect, that'll work out good, July 11th.
July 11th.
I have not booked that with the impulse.
Okay.
Impulse in order.
That's subject to change.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Ryan's gonna keep us up to date on that one. Barry, you got anything exciting? No? You were looking at me, so I thought.
So what you guys,
I'm just looking around heads here.
so we have to.
Sorry, I can't take it off.
We'll work on it.
We have to do something for the last race weekend. So there's two options. We do something at the track or we do something off-site like at Blackjack's. So,
Any suggestions from anybody for
It's,
that
to
weekend?
do something on site will depend on the weather too.
It's late in
It's risky.
It's September, so I would guess that indoors would probably be way
Yes.
safer.
Are we able to do
Better
all
option.
our presentations and stuff at Blackjack's, like in the upstairs we did for before?
If we're gonna do that, we should book it really soon.
I
because-
don't, does that work okay? Because I know it's like, it's hard to move that many people over.
It's gonna be hard to move people, but the comment about the uncertainty of the weather at the end of September is valid. And so I think that even though you lose people when you move, it's probably worth it. And then at Blackjack's on the mezzanine, I mean, it's a Sunday, so if they have I'm not sure they have bands on Sunday. If they
no,
don't have a
I was
band-
gonna do it Saturday. We can't do it Sunday.
No.
People who wanna get
Are
going
gone.
home.
Yeah.
It has to be the Saturday.
What about the track? The track has a big marquee tent. We've used it before for barbecues and stuff. It's over
It's not always
past the
set up.
drag strip there.
Oh, right.
And they've got their barbecues, or, can't remember what the barbecues. Yeah, they have some barbecues.
Yeah,
or
they do
something.
have the
The one of them
ability to cater
didn't work
barbecue
well
there.
or something like that. I can't remember. But they have a little bar set up in there and everything, so.
Okay, well, we got the two options.
We
Yeah.
used that once.
Well, the reason I
You
say
didn't
that,
barbecue
What
there.
did you do the last year? You just
Not last year.
No, last year,
The year
no.
before was
The year before,
WCV.
so we actually had a big barbecue in there.
Yeah, that was beside the Eurasia building.
You're
Yeah,
thinking of a different one.
No, there was an
Done
event that
both.
we had out on the, what I guess would be the north side of the drag tower.
yes,
They
Yes.
had
Yeah.
a tent and an event. And
yes,
That
that's
was
what
about
Nelson's.
2 years ago.
That was a
that's
CMRT.
correct. That's correct.
And that was.
Oh, yes.
It was CMRT hosted.
Yes,
the
that's
barbecue
right.
for us.
Yeah, that's,
Might
tent's
be.
not there. Oh,
Um,
Barry says that tent is not there.
Not
Oh.
Oh,
It's gone.
because that was there for a long time. I know you'd drive there and you'd see it all the time. Oh,
Well,
wow.
it might be coming back because they got hot August nights coming and they've always had that tent on
Okay.
hot August nights.
Yeah,
And
they
what
got
happened to the
one
tent
now.
that we've always used often for
The
bad
Argyle
weather?
tent
The
is-
Argyle, what's happened to that?
Yeah,
It's
that
not-
was
not
it's
up
gone.
And it
They're not
won't
doing
come
that.
back? We won't ever have that back? Nobody knows.
I gotta believe that tent's coming back on the north side.
All right, so
They
it's
weren't
worth.
there for the motorcycle weekend.
No, but
Sunday.
in August, they got the big event. They'll have it
So
back.
I think it's worth our inquiring is if they will have a tent at the end of August.
Yeah,
And if they do, I think that's our best choice.
yeah. I agree.
Because if it's
It's
on
better to keep it on site.
if it's on a Saturday night
Oh, for
at
sure.
Black Tracks, I think there's a band, and so for us to
Yeah.
have any kind of presentations will be very difficult.
I mean,
And the loss of people is real, so.
Yeah, well, we will have some trophies to present on Saturday night because we'll be having our featured WCMA race on the Saturday, because the runoffs are on the Sunday, right? So
Yeah.
we'll be running our points race on the Saturday.
I mean, that's good, but Jed's point is excellent, because if you're gonna do the thing at Blackjack's, you got a couple of problems there. You got other influence, you have noise, as was pointed out. You're off-site. I know even me, to sort of have my car and team over here, then I have to rush over there and do trophies, then I have to come back again. I mean, that's just me, it doesn't matter, it's my problem, but, you know, other people may not come. If we can keep it on site, would be the best thing, but if you've got no tent or no place to have it, if it's bad weather, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, so I'd say look for the 10th, and if they've got it, book them for sure, and if not, then you can think about it some more.
Okay.
Is there a reason not to use the Eurasia building? We did that last year when we had that band, and there was the barbecue set up in front there. I thought that worked really well. I mean,
That's true too.
That did work. Yeah,
heated
that
and
was-
air conditioned, no matter what
Yeah.
the weather does.
Yeah.
It's going to work. So.
Yeah, actually, Jim makes a good point. That was good. That was a good thing, and I guess it worked. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't there last year, so.
Yeah, so I guess the barbecue will be outside and the food will be inside.
Yeah.
that worked.
So if we're having an event on Saturday for the last race event, are we having the runoffs on the Saturday?
Sunday.
Or you're doing it on the Sunday?
The runoffs are on the Sunday. Yes.
Okay. Because like, I don't know what Nelson was saying about handing out.
Well, we usually do some trophies on Saturday regardless, like King of the Road.
WCMA
So,
trophies.
so are we gonna, if we're running the runoffs and the WCMA points race, does that mean we are not running the prize money race?
That's right, there's be no GT races.
Oh, no GT race and stuff.
Yeah, there's no GT races.
Do we want to try and do that in August?
That was another question I was going to ask you after the meeting, so that answers that question. So we're not doing that for September. Okay.
It's all set in stone now.
You can't, there's not enough time in the schedule to run the GT races and the WCM races
Okay.
and regular
Can we,
races.
Yeah,
can we
no, it's
move
not.
it to August?
Okay.
The
Could be.
GT race? Any objections to that?
Well, you do have to remember that, I mean, if we, in this circumstance, we have an excuse not for running the GT race. And the GT race costs us $4,000 in prize money in a year where we've already lost $12,000.
Mhm.
Maybe it's the year to not do it.
And a runoff gives you bragging rights, not so much prize money.
Yeah.
But it's a reasonable substitute. So.
Barry, was there something?
I was just gonna ask, if you have the event on site in Castro's tent, is there restrictions on food? Do you have to buy it from Castro?
Probably, yes.
So just be aware of that.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe not. Have to ask.
Well, when, at the time, at the time, I mean, there was one event that CMRT did, but there was another event that WCMA and ARCA and NASCC did. And in both cases, we were able to buy the uncooked food from Castrol
That's what we did last
at a
September.
decent price and cook it ourselves. And so it wasn't the kind of price per hamburger that they would have otherwise charged us. So we can probably still do something.
Yeah, it was a fairly reasonable cost for the September barbecue that we did last year. So,
And then you had to use their bar. I do remember that, because you had
Yeah.
to go up there and buy their whatever soft drinks or bar drinks, beer,
Yeah,
whatever.
but I actually think that's okay.
From them. You know, and it was okay. They didn't
Bruce
gouge or
Willis
anything,
got
but you had
so
to
shit-faced,
that.
it was hilarious.
yeah.
in that tent. It was set up in that
Yeah.
tent.
Correct.
You know, and that's liquor license, if not. If nothing
Exactly,
else,
and
right? I
that,
mean,
that
it's
shifts
hassle with that.
responsibility
You don't
off of
wanna
us
fool
as
around.
well.
It
There is
saves us a little
responsibility that goes
figuring
with
out the
the license.
quantities and not being sold and having to return things and all kinds of nonsense. So it's definitely worth it.
Oh, but we do have stuff left over from the ice race party.
That went to the marshals at the last race.
Oh, cool, okay, good choice.
Went to the what?
The beer.
Oh, at
That's
the
good.
school or?
No, the last
Last
race
race
weekend.
weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool.
Speaking of bringing beer, you bring bottles of bubbly next in June.
The ones
which
I
you
have
said
covered,
you were
yeah,
gonna,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, those ones have been donated to the
And I
marshals.
might need one or two at the trophy
Oh.
presentation, I don't know.
Okay, we'll talk.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Okay, we got enough feedback for about the September race weekend. But we had to do something for September. There's no question about that.
And, we got nothing suggested for June or August yet. So if anybody has any ideas, you can send me an email or talk to me after the meeting. Or send us feedback through Facebook.
Yes, we do get, if anyone doesn't know this already, if you can't make a meeting and you want to talk about something, you can message us through Facebook directly. You can message the YouTube stream page.
You have to be
directly.
allowed on Facebook.
But you can go on to YouTube. There's also a chat thing in YouTube that I do watch, and people ask some questions. You can't vote as a member yet online, but we're hoping to change that in the future. We can verify your ID or whatever. So, but we do have interaction. If you can't make it to a meeting and want to ask something, you can still do it through numerous ways here. So, and you can always just call and put on speaker. So.
Okay, and my last topic is
A question about the August race. Do we know if we're getting a decent open wheel crowd?
Yeah, the Northwest formerly Continental Club we're on their schedule.
Perfect.
So we're not their season ender this year. Last year we were their season ender. We're the third of their 4 races.
Still.
But you're talking August.
August,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, we will have the full complement of open wheels for August.
But that does beg the question of whether we should be doing something for that.
We probably should.
Yeah.
Well, it probably is a good idea, I like Jed's idea, it probably is a good idea to have something for both those weekends, August and September, if we can manage it. What's involved in using that Eurasia building? Do we have to get a hold of Paul, obviously, and?
It's Castle.
It's
It's
Castle.
Castle.
Okay, so you have some
Somebody has
rental
to
there is a
deal or
rental rate.
whatever, and then you pay their fee for the generator, whatever, and.
It's $495 a day.
Didn't Paul sponsor the building the last
September.
time?
He did, yes.
So that could be worth following up, those ideas with that building perhaps, if there's no tent or anything else.
Yeah.
Okay, my last topic that I was going to bring up is we have volunteers who come out to all of our events. So if anyone has any contacts to provide any T-shirts or hats or whatever to marshals at any of our race weekends, please get in touch with us and let us know. It's always nice to provide them, like we have the River City T-shirts provided to us for the first race weekend.
All swag is appreciated.
Exactly. Okay, anybody got any other topics they want to bring up? Mark?
Since I went to Knox Mountain,
Yes.
there was about 7 club members there.
Mhm.
And Ron with the yellow and blue Datsun, he enjoyed himself, first time up on the mountain. Staples was renting a ride from Corey, but Corey blew a head gasket, so he was
First round.
practicing on that all weekend. But he got a ride in a Mazda Miata to go up. Fred found a running rock and took out his oil pan from 3 all the way up to 7. Down.
That's Fred. Mhm.
That's a bit of
It was pretty good. It was 65 cars.
Aaron Cook, I don't know if you guys know
Yeah.
about Aaron
was
Cook.
third
He was
overall.
amazing. He had a former Atlantic. He got ready.
Isn't Aaron,
No.
he used to ice
Ice
race?
race.
Still
Yes.
does.
Yeah, he's never taken a summer school. He's never road raced. He's just ice raced with us. But he had the second fastest time.
Third, I think.
Yeah, third was his
Second or
That's what he
third.
said,
Second.
second or third.
second or
or
third
third, yeah.
fastest time this year at Knox Mountain. Amazing.
Under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
minute
1:52.
Minute 52.
And he ran a Formula car.
Formula
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, we should get him to come out for
Oh, he doesn't have a license.
June. Oh,
Under observation license from ice racing, you can come out.
We're talking with the WCMA about the ability to do that. I don't know if that would cut it, but certainly Aaron is an amazing driver. So that we've been talking with the WCMA about ways where we know of a driver who's got a car, who has proven himself, how do we go about maybe doing an under observation licensing for that person? But it would be one-offs, it would not be the norm.
So we've done it previously for people who've held rally licenses.
There's also like the idea of where they pay for the license and all the stuff that's like locked in, it's like a deposit.
No, there's no talk of that.
No?
No talk of that. So we're, we certainly love Aaron to come racing with us, but the problem with him would be licensing again. So, but amazing, he did amazing here.
And 2 minutes is a magic number on that mountain. You did it, you know
He's quite well past it.
it. Yeah. But, 2 Mazdas from Red Deer are 155 and 153.
Yeah, Daryl and Bill were there again.
Yeah.
They were under 2 minutes.
They're always
In
in
their
there.
first gens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fred, in the
Daryl is
1300 is
Is-
just
is-
touching 2 minutes.
Is Bill running a first gen or an RX3?
No, I think he ran out of RX3s.
Yeah. He's running
He's got that gray first gen, I think, still the same car.
Did you go this
The
year?
fast?
No.
Louder?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yes.
take my hip
What?
up to it. And
That's the first time in ages you have.
yeah,
Wow.
that's, I think I made 6 in a row
Where'd
or
you
something
go?
and then haven't.
States?
Daryl showed up at the ice races this year.
Did he?
Yeah,
Those,
with a sled in the back.
They're both retired.
Yeah.
He showed up here at the road races last time.
The forwarders.
Yeah, talked to me for a while.
I don't think he ever got anything running.
Oh.
Jay's place too.
Any other topics?
Nope.
Anything anybody wants to talk about? Please, now's the time to do it, because. Jed.
I'd like to talk about the trophies, but I'm not sure that that's a conversation for everybody or just between you, me, and
Yeah,
Depends what-
I gotta talk to Nelson.
Yeah, I'm
We'll
gonna
get
hang
together.
around after, because I got some stuff to talk to Mark about.
Anything else? Going once? Going twice?
Clunk.
Done.
There we
I'll
go.
see
Now, where is
everybody
the
for the
gavel?
social meeting upstairs on June the 20th.
20.
So we're going offline. It's the end of it.
Yep.